All right, everybody, welcome back to the Morning Woods podcast. With me, we have a very special guest today. He's the host of his very own podcast at the Jungle Gyms Market. Would you like to introduce yourself, sir, for
Sure.
everyone?
I'm Mark Borison. Yeah, like you said, right now I host the Jungle Gyms podcast for, I don't even know, I'm having struggling to get that out. I'm like,
He
what's it,
just has a
what's,
stroke.
yeah, I was like, what's the show called? I got that COVID brain fog still. No, but the Jungle Gyms podcast, yeah, based out of Jungle Gyms International Market in Fairfield.
Yeah,
I've been working as a commercial actor now for almost like the last 10 years, which is crazy.
that's awesome. I didn't know you were an actor.
Yeah, dude,
I love learning that about you.
Oh man, I tried to be. I was listening to the episode you did with Andrew Dench.
Oh, yeah.
and I feel like part of the reason he and I bonded is that we're like kind of the same thing. Where I'm like, I started out my entertainment career as a musician, and that went well for a little while. And then I kind of like once I had a band breakup, I had that moment of I'm not relying on people anymore.
Yeah.
So then, like everything else, I was like, I'm just going to learn how to do everything. So, but yeah, I got into acting a couple years back. Led some campaigns for brands like Pepsi and the NFL and stuff. So
That's awesome, dude.
it's been so cool. And it's one of those things where I only got an agent because I wanted to be a voice actor.
Oh, wow.
And then my agent was just like, oh no, you're gonna be in film and TV and stuff. And I'm just like, oh, okay. I'm not
Dude,
arguing.
yeah, can I
So-
send some of Andrew's headshots that he took me over to your agent?
yeah,
Please, because I want to get in voice acting too.
Yeah, dude, it was so crazy. Well, it's funny. It's hilarious. I haven't booked one voice acting gig. It's all been
my
like
God, that's
like
great.
TV and film stuff. It's kind of hilarious.
Well, even if that would to work out, that would be great alongside stand up and good credits to have. So
That's the one area that I tried to start breaking into right before COVID, and I did stand up for the first time in like March of 2020. Then everything shut down. I was
Oh,
like,
man.
and it went pretty well too. And I'm like, I should get back to this, but then
that's when I started my first podcast. Well, it was my second one. I had one with some buddies, and kind of like you said, a band broke up. But also in retrospect to what you were saying earlier, I started off as a musician as well.
that's so cool.
So I was like doing hip hop and like singing and stuff for like probably
Yeah.
10 plus years. I have a
That's
bunch
awesome.
of mixtapes and stuff out there that I don't do anymore, but I'm doing comedy for a little over 4 years now. And then, right during the pandy, I'd started doing a podcast called Getting High with Headliners.
Oh, cool.
So I was like, yeah, this would be fun. I'll like smoke weed with comics. And
Sure.
so I ran into several problems. So the first one was like, a lot of people were like, I don't want to smoke weed on camera. I'm like, I'm on TV and stuff. And I'm like, all right, I respect that.
Sure.
That makes sense. And it really didn't cross my mind during the course of, I was just like, this is a great name, right?
Yeah,
it is a great, branding. Getting High with
for
Headliners
sure.
is great. So we might bring that back for the Patreon only. Oh, I like this. Like,
There you go.
that's a good idea, by the
I'm
way.
here to inspire.
But the second issue that I was running into was that YouTube was like, no, sorry, you can't put any dollars behind this because like the content, the nature of the content is shocking. And I think the name was a red flag automatically.
Yeah.
So so it didn't really fly, but it was a blessing that like COVID had happened in that particular way for me, just because like, I really wasn't being able to bring people into my apartment and stuff like that. So I was like, all right, it kind of just shut down and the dream died for a while until last year was over and everything, and this kind of popped off. But
That's so cool.
yeah, I'm glad that it did. I'm glad that thing didn't kind of take off and continue momentum, because who knows where it would have went, or where my branding, or I could have
Yeah.
been down a different road altogether as far as the name of it.
It's kind of the fun thing, right? Multiverses are hot right now. So you're just all your
I
branching
love
paths.
that theory, dude. Hey, Doctor Strange is my favorite superhero. If you've seen the new one, don't spoil it for me. But
I won't. I did enjoy it, but I watched this movie the other night called Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Dude, I was trying to think of the name of it. I saw you post that, and I was trying to think of the name of it.
I'm glad I saw it. Like,
Is it
don't
on
get me wrong.
Hulu?
I got it on Vudu. I think
Okay.
it's
I
just
have
like
Vudu.
pay-per-view streaming
yeah.
so far, or whatever they're calling
You
it.
just
now.
rent it for like $10 or whatever.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I had such a good time with it. It was like just really It was one of those things that like, I've made a few short films myself, enough to be like, I'm a filmmaker.
That's
but
cool.
Try not to be obnoxious about it. Try. But it was one of those things where watching it outside of some of the larger effects things, it had a very like DIY kind of grounded approach to things. I
Yeah.
thought that was cool because I was like, oh, I feel like this is how I would try to approach this kind of grand story where it's like, you don't need $200 million budget.
Right.
I think they literally did it for like $20 million, something like that. And it's got, every buck's on screen. It's really cool. I'd highly recommend it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. I love a good superhero movie, but ones that are rated R and ones that are for adults.
Yeah.
Where you're like, yeah, if these people were that powerful, they would be smashing into things, and
yeah.
like it'd be fucked up around the world for
sure.
regular people.
You watching The Boys?
Yeah, I haven't
Okay.
watched the third season either.
Oh, it's pretty good so far.
I'm
Yeah.
hanging back, waiting for the hype to be over. You
Yeah.
know.
Get all of the episodes out so you can just like go through at your own pace.
I'm so anti other, like, I'm so counterculture and like anti human beings. Like, I don't want to. That's going to lead me to conversations.
Right.
No.
Of course.
Yeah, I think the first two were amazing, and my mental illness is showing through.
Yeah, you're like, good. That's what this is all about. This is why we have podcasts.
Yeah, we're just trying to air it out.
Just let my demons have the mic for a few minutes. I'm like, fuck it.
Let it go, baby.
Right.
I'll tell you what I did watch though. Last night I watched the new special that Bill Burr was hosting it, and there was several different comics.
What'd you think? I watched that too.
I liked it. I really liked it. Yeah, I thought Michelle Wolf did a great job. I thought Jimmy Carr was crazy, and he was really pushing the envelope.
Yeah.
I love that. And then I also watched that new Adam Sandler movie.
Hustle?
Hustle.
I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard
really
great things. Yeah.
Really good.
Sandler's such an interesting character to me because he's obviously very funny, and he's figured out Hollywood, which is like, all right, guys.
Yeah.
Me and my buddies are going to make this movie. We're going to make it pretty cheap. We're going to get a bunch of sponsorships on board, and we're all just going to go hang out for a few months at a cool place. The movie doesn't have to be amazing.
Yeah, and we're going to improv most of it.
Yeah, and it's just going to be hanging out with your friends. We all get a little money. Everybody goes home happy. I think it's such a great idea. It's like a really oddly altruistic way of doing Hollywood, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I love that every so often we get Sandler doing like Punch Drunk Love or Uncut Gems or in this case Hustle now too.
Yeah, dude, he's so believable, and he crosses over well. You know, he's one of those actors that probably back in the day no one would have ever saw this coming.
No.
You know, his empire is tremendous. So hopefully no one tries to burn Sandler like they have some of the other greats recently, right?
Yeah.
You start getting back on that wave, you got to be careful. When you're on top, you got to be real careful nowadays, man.
I just saw Chris Rock the other night, and I was sort of like, the whole time I was curious to be like, oh, I wonder how this is going to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And honestly, I thought it went really well. I think he'll be fine.
Yeah.
But the new Bill Burr hour, I saw him up in Columbus when he came through.
Hell yeah.
I think he's going to get a little heat when he releases that. It was, by the way, I think it was the funniest hour I've ever seen him do.
Yeah.
And
I love Burr.
I'm really looking forward. Yeah, he's awesome.
He's one of my favorites ever. I just saw Tom Segura's new hour.
Oh
boy.
That's
his Coulter is something else, dude. Oh man. That boy is wild. I saw Sickler open. It was only a 2-man show. It was at the Agora Theater.
Oh, okay.
Down near you, right? That's in your neck of the woods, right?
Agora, I think. I don't
Cincy?
know. No, we've got the Aronoff in Cincy.
Oh, it was the Arnoff Center.
Okay, that
the
makes
Arnoff
sense.
Center. Yeah,
the
that's
Agora,
where
is
it
that
was.
maybe
Right downtown.
Indianapolis?
It might be in Indianapolis. Yeah.
They all have almost the same name.
Yeah, I know. I have no idea if that's even a theater.
Yeah, it probably is.
I have agoraphobia. I don't even know. Fuck yeah, dude. Dude, did you see that this woman was arrested for trying to prostitute for gas?
No.
Yeah, dude. This chick, it was on mugshots.com. I think Sage's TV posted it on their Instagram from a mugshots. It was a screenshot from mugshots.com.
You can't blame her really right now. I mean, honestly, the only reason I'm not doing it is because somebody's already been arrested for it.
Yeah, dude. You know? No, you could still do it, dude.
That's true.
You might not get caught. I mean, it's a good market for it right now. For sure. But apparently she asked this older gentleman, like, hey, can I get, I'll give you sex for a tank of gas. And he called the cops. And she got arrested for soliciting.
That's so crazy.
I know. It's crazy that he called the cops.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, I can't imagine being an old man. And that was my response. I'm like, go ahead.
In this recession right now, he's like, man, I would, but I got to do something about this.
He honestly, it was just his territory, so he was pissed off that she came in encroaching.
I'm the only one sucking dick for gas on this side of the railroad tracks. Get your punk ass over there, lady.
This is my Dollar General.
Yeah. She's like, I was just looking for diesel. I don't give a fuck. She's like, it was E87. He said, don't come back around.
The extra ethanol really does go a long way.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, shit.
Dude, I would fucking... Oh, man. I don't know why I almost said this out loud. I was like, I will suck the methane from a cow's ass, and I don't know why that even crossed my mind, to be honest.
There's probably some science behind it. I'm like, let's check with the Mythbusters.
What if I just... That's how I became a human rocket pack. I was like, yeah, you guys didn't know this, but if you suck a fart out of a cow... turns you into a jetpack.
I sometimes wonder how many things, because most of existence was just discovered kind of in accidental, weird ways.
We should try this shit.
What secret powers have we missed out on because we're like, that's a little weird, How
much weird shit do we not do anymore? Because we were like, someday someone was just like, oh, dude, we've been fucking up, right?
Yeah.
That happens all the time.
Right.
Right? Like, look back on, like, leather jackets. We fucked up, man, making that a fashion trend.
Yeah.
You know?
Where are they now?
There are all kinds of things, dude. And some great things that happen like that too. Like who accidentally dropped a corn dog, their hot dog in the batter, and they were like, "Oh, let me get a stick and try to jimmy that out of there."
Right.
And you're like, "Oh man, it's ruined.
Let me get the worst tool possible for this job.
Let me go outside and peel this off a tree and stab it into your food."
Oh my God, it's amazing. That's a good idea.
Yeah, dude.
Somebody the other day, I forget where I was. I was talking with somebody. It may have been on the show, but I think it was. But they talked about, they're like, speaking of how Midwest we are.
Yeah.
Let's put a corn dog on a coney here.
Oh shit.
And I was like, Jesus, I think you just unlocked like the ultimate and fair food, whatever some weird nexus is.
Dude, I think that Midwest is code word for bread.
It is. Yeah, you're like, is it battered?
Is it battered? They're like, yeah, it's better when it's battered. It used to be it's better when it's buttered, and now it's better when it's battered.
Yeah, they're like, oh shit, you can butter the batter as well. There's like 2 layers to this.
Dude, well, people from the Midwest, they like 2 things battered. That's their corn dogs and their wives.
Which may sound delicious, but that doesn't make it right.
That's right, dude. That's how deep fried Oreos are invented.
Oh shit! Oh my God. Oh yeah, the Midwest does kind of suck.
Yeah, dude, for sure. I was talking to Billy DeVore about this, and
Yeah.
I was like, it's almost like my brain just like says dumb shit. And we were in the middle of talking about chili, and like he's from Cincinnati, and not thinking, I was like, I almost said it, and then I explained to him that I almost said it. I was like, dude, I almost just asked you, like, oh, wouldn't it suck to live in a city where chili was your staple food? And he was like, I do, and I was like, oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But I mean, Dayton doesn't even have a staple food.
That's really true. It's
heroin.
Yeah,
People eat meth and pills here. That's our staple.
That's perfect. Honestly,
Yeah.
That's like 3 of the base levels of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So Dayton's doing it right.
Meth, heroin, and benzos. They're like, dude, you're checking all the boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on down and play a few holes at the Covington Classic. That's where I live. So it's about right. Literally, this is how awesome it was today. I was walking my dog around like a nice little park. And as I came around the bend, there was just some dude who looked like, the picture I always have in my head is on Aqua Teen Hunger Force. They'd have a like a homeless guy that would just like walk around and just like these kind of voices.
Yeah.
So I swear to God, that fucking dude was just like laying down in the middle of the road, just fucking vibing, just hanging out. And he was like kind of picking at some shit near a telephone pole. I was like, this is beautiful. Why do people think Covington sucks?
That's awesome.
We need this action.
Dude, it's crazy you say that. You're the 3rd person from Covington I've had on my show within the week.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also one of the
weird.
artists that the owner of the studio signed is from Covington also.
That's awesome.
That's so weird.
All jokes aside, I mean, that really did happen today, but
Yeah.
all jokes aside, I really do like living down there. It's been a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Easy highway access, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you guys are just over the border, so the cigarettes are a little bit cheaper.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I refer to it as Southern Cincinnati when people ask where I live, and I was like, well, maybe you've heard of that.
Yeah, I like Newport too. That's a fun city if you want to go have a good time and hit some spots. There's some good eating down there on the water too.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
We've got kind of a good, the thing about Cincinnati now is that we really do have, or the Cincinnati area, we have a really good food scene. Like, we were beer forever, and that's cool too, but like, I definitely eat way more than I drink these days.
You open up a new
so-
market for other kinds of tourists when you start having a good food market, though.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well,
the beer people will still come.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, I think that's part of Jungle Gym's success, to be
Sure.
honest with you. They're just like, hey, what if we had a platform for everybody?
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's like this crazy tourist destination, too. I mean, shit. It's a weird place to work. It's been a lot of
It
fun.
looks so cool from the highway, for sure.
I have, like,
it's huge. I've never been in there. I'm going to
Oh,
come
man.
down.
Yeah, you'll have a good time.
Yeah.
We'll do some weird stuff. If we
can't
plan
wait.
it out right, I'll try and do something fun for us there. It is it's a wild place to work. I mean, like, literally, you never know what to expect every day. It's like some days there's just kids having like lightsaber fights in the toy department. Some days you're trying, I mean, like, my job is like trying exotic, weird food, and then
I know.
like it's cool. I was
Dude,
like,
I
what
love
a cool
your
opportunity. Oh, thanks so much, man.
Yeah,
I really
man. Is this
appreciate
your baby, or did you and the owner kind of come up with this together, or how did this all? What's the
it.
process?
Kind of a little bit of both, but the thing about what's so cool to me about Jungle is that like his secret skill that I don't think gets talked about enough is he like gets people, right? Like, I think it was like my second interview with them, where at the end of it he goes, what if I built you a studio? And I laughed, right? Like, I laughed because he's kind of a funny guy anyway.
Yeah.
But I laughed because it's very infrequent in the creative industry. So we were talking about this off air, especially in this area.
Sure.
Dude, like the fact that I was like, I remember booking that Pepsi commercial and being like, holy shit, I did that in Cincinnati. Damn, what would I do in a city where they like really do this? Should I leave?
You're doing auditions all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was funny because like I did that, had that thought, and then literally got the call from Jungle Gyms to meet them about doing the show together. So I was like, oh, I guess I'm not leaving.
Yeah.
And,
so the momentum of the Pepsi thing probably helped you in that way too.
I did the commercial after my first interview, but before my second. And I joked that when I came in there, like, oh, we saw that you did a Pepsi ad. That's so cool. And I remember thinking to myself, I was like, well, I think I just got this job.
Hell yeah, dude.
You know?
That's fantastic.
But no, it was really cool because like they came in. The whole thing is like Jungle done someone else's podcast. He's like, why aren't we doing one of these? And he was just like, let's corner that market. He's just a kind of, really, he's a visionary guy. You know, he just came in, and what I was saying about his special skill before is that he really like knows people. You know, in that first hour and a half I spent with him between two interviews, he was just like, this is the guy. Let me go show him the studio I'm going to build him. And he built me this crazy studio that he let me design.
That's awesome, dude.
It's insane. It's like a crazy thing. And I just remember, so sorry. But I remember leaving and being like, okay, so I've known you for an hour and a half and you offered to build me something, which is why I kind of laughed about it. Yeah. You know, I just wasn't expecting it, but it's, oh, dude. And on the show's creation end, they were just like, pitch me a show.
Okay.
And I was just like, oh, okay. You know, and I've been working, you know, when I wasn't doing acting stuff, I was hosting this YouTube channel for a tech company based out of Florence, Kentucky. And it was a pretty good time, but like, you know, it was, we were business to business and business to education. So it was a little more like straight laced.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of like Think Media or something along those lines.
You know, yeah. And like, I had a great time. And by the way, I still had a ton of creative freedom, but it was just sort of this, like we were working in like, we were a partner company of Google. So we were like working around Chromebooks and like Chrome OS and all this shit. So it was like kind of just a dry neighborhood, right? Like I could inject some humor into it. But
it was pretty cut and dry, but I bet it probably really got you prepared for where you're at now as far as your creativity, as far as the processes of actually being serious and making media that people can consume. Right. You really got that down, and that's good that you had that under your belt before you got to do your own thing.
And it was cool because, like, you know, I mean, it's the old gig, it was me and one of my buddies, and we just made stuff, and it went well. And yeah, I think it's such a great point. What's been funny to me about this process at Jungle is that, like, I'm still having to unlearn the corporate. I wouldn't even say my last job was very corporate. It was a smaller, independently owned company, but like it was more corporate than here, where this is a place where I'll have an idea and I'll be like, oh, that's probably a little too much. You know, a great example of that is I bathed in chili in support of the Cincinnati Bengals this year.
You did that in studio?
In the studio. I did a whole live show from it and everything.
Holy shit, dude. That's amazing.
It was awesome.
How did I miss that?
Oh, my God. I think we just didn't know each other yet. I think.
I came along a few months later.
I think like right after, honestly. Like, and it was such a funny event, but it was one of those things where, you know, I just made a dumb joke on Facebook and it got out of control like things tend to do.
Hell yeah.
And Jungle was out of town that week for something. And I just remember being like, oh, shit, I got to tell everybody he works. I call one of my buddies at work that's like been with the company his whole life and like kind of grew up with them. And I'm just like, dude, okay, so I made this stupid post, and one of the chili companies in town was like, yeah, if you get a bathtub, we'll supply the chili. I was like, fuck, dude. I was like, look, man, we can either do this here or we can do it somewhere else. I was like, what do you think? And he's like, just run it by the team. So I tell the team, and they're all like, it was, you know.
It's the best fucking idea you ever had, Mark.
Mind you, yeah, pretty much. I've been with them now officially. Like, you know, we consulted for about a year on the build. But at this point, I've only been with them like 4 months. And I'm just like, hey, guys, I thought it'd be great if I stripped down in the middle of this grocery store and bathed in chili for really no reason, but because it was funny and people seemed to think it was a funny idea.
Great publicity, though.
Oh, my God. They were on board. And so, you know, we call up Jungle and we're just like, hey, we got this crazy pitch. And again, it's like, and I should have known it would be the way it went, but I'm just like, all right, so I'm going to bathe in chili and do an episode of the show from it. And he pauses, and, you know, in my head, it was like 8 hours of pause, but, you know, it was like 2 seconds.
Sure.
And he's just like, yeah, sounds great, babe. Like, just don't spill it on the carpets. And we're just like, oh, shit. I'm like, that's who I work for.
Holy shit.
It was awesome.
So you guys had to, like, Dexter your studio out,
literally,
right? Cover it in, like, plastic.
Yeah. Dude, we have, like, you know, we have an events team because we have 2 event spaces in that store alone and then another one in the Eastgate store. So they came out with these, like, giant plastic rollers to wrap the carpets. I was just like, oh, shit, we really could kill somebody here.
Hell yeah.
You guys have a lot of tarps and probably a ton of property to bury things things on, I love this place.
Property, dude. You live in Cincinnati. You just put them in the chili, dude. How many people you think said the wrong thing in Cincinnati?
Yeah, right. It ended
up as a little cinnamon.
Yeah, one guy 100 years ago was like, "What do Greeks know about chili?" And that's the special recipe ever since.
What if no one knew? But like, yeah, it was because it was a body. The whole time, it's just been the blood of children.
Oh yeah, there's like one every year at one of like the West Side Church festivals. We sacrifice somebody for the chili, and it's like, well, the city's built on it. No, it's just the way things are.
That's why Skyline and Gold Star broke up, because they were like, dude, we're tired of killing kids. And he's like, here, Gold Star, we're gonna continue to do our sacrificial
farm to table children sacrifice. Okay, locally sourced, fair trade.
Those are cloned kids. Nope.
No. And we actually have 2 new lines of kids that came in from Impossible and Beyond. Beyond children. Yeah, it's awful.
These are free range children, actually.
I did a little fake, well, not fake, it's real. I did a short film a couple of years ago called Chilluminati. That is actually, so when I first moved to Cincinnati, you made a comment that made me think of this, and of course I'm going to plug it, but when I first got here, I was like, why is there a chili-based economy in Cincinnati? Like, these 2 businesses, one's red, one's blue. They all operate pretty much within the 275 loop. Like, there's a few outliers, of course, but for the most part, especially when I first got here, which was in the 90s, they were really just locked in that circle. And I was just like, there's got to be some sort of chili mafia, that it's like one family, and they were just like, all right, one cousin runs the red one, you run the blue one, and if we have this competition, we'll actually build an industry out of it, because one chili place, that wasn't going to work. And Coke, exactly. Dude. They're just at war forever. So
holy shit.
I made a short
film. You're going to get us killed, dude.
I know I am. Dude, I'm working on a sequel right now. I really hope the second one, something bad happens, and I'm going to be like, that shit's real. I'll tell you a good story off air, too, about chili.
Holy shit, that makes me feel excited and nervous at the same time. Anytime someone's like, yo, I got a good one, but wait. And I'm like, oh, yeah, this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun, baby.
Yeah, the Patreon subscribers only.
Patreon only, for sure. Yes. Dude, that's great, bro. You can't really top that. I think you have to watch what you say sometimes, huh?
Oh, a little bit. Yeah, for sure.
So I said this, and I think I'm going to do it. I haven't really made a post or made it official, but we're approaching 50 episodes, but I think
congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I think that once we get to 100, maybe I should do it at 50. But I was thinking at 100, I get a tattoo of maybe like do a fan poll on Facebook and let people decide. Give them options.
I got a pitch for you. You should do it 50. They get to pick the first half. You give them let's say you're like, all right, I'm going to give you like a 4x4 square. Design the first half, and then design the second. Like, then have somebody design the second half based on the first half. But like different people, so maybe get 2 different art styles that somehow connect. I think that might be fun, and it would be a good way to boost listenership up to 100 too. You're like, all right, here's the first half for the next 50 episodes. You could take suggestions. It'd be fucking hilarious.
That's an awesome idea, dude.
Yeah, you could do. I mean, dude, you could go full Steve-O and have them do your face and do half your face and then half your face the second time. It'd be hilarious,
dude. Yeah, we're gonna get some merch made up with this stupid head. Dude.
I love it. It's great.
Those are hand drawn. Those are my teeth that are. My friend Travis made fun of them, and I was like, dude, those are my real teeth. I was like, these are pretty close.
I made them myself.
Yeah, that was a hand sketch. My parents made those teeth, dude. And
that's so cool, dude. Yeah, definitely do that.
I think that would be really fun, dude.
I feel like merch and Patreon are the 2 next big waves for us as like content creators. I'm trying to figure out the merch thing too.
Yes.
Which is a little weird since I work for a company doing a show, but I'm like, well, we can kind of find both levels.
Yeah, like you can find a medium, some for you and some for them, and that's all. I find that with the owner of this business and myself too, because sometimes you want to do your own projects and you're still like a freelance media creator,
right? Even
when you leave the studio. So, but I'm in the same boat when it comes to that kind of stuff. You kind of got to draw the line at some point and be like, how can this work for both of us? Because this is like the breadwinner of the of the equation for me and for you as well.
And I think it'd be like an easy thing too. It's like you said, like even making little stickers, all kinds of stuff, just like and brand awareness too.
Yes.
Where I think we struggle because we're a bit of a tourist destination. I think we haven't done stickers so much for the show because just kids would just put that shit everywhere.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to migrate to magnets instead.
Okay.
Because I think magnets kind of have the same effect. You could still put them on your car. You can still put them a lot of places.
So much better.
Yeah, but if you put it somewhere that's like fucked up, you can just take it off.
The markup is a little bit more initially, but as far as like the trajectory of how far that's gonna go, and like the longevity of that being on their refrigerator or their car
Yeah.
or their fucking, who knows, their mailbox. I mean, there's endless places you can throw a magnet.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking QR codes too.
Oh yeah.
Thinking maybe I put one right in the center of my forehead, like a big piece of LSD, but it's a QR code.
Perfect.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm
Oh, man,
saying?
get the tongue out, dude.
Get the tongue hanging
yeah,
out.
full blotter sheet,
Dude, I'll
baby.
show you my Patreon before we leave here. And I have like, yeah, so I have like the levels, like the $3 tier. This is for you guys at home. $3 tier, it's just a plain, it's called just the tip.
Oh,
it's
perfect.
just a plain white floating head, right?
Yeah.
And then the second one, it's you got balls, and then I put a really cool like disco ball from the '80s behind me, and it's just a little bit of color popping out.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then on the third one is big dick energy, and so that's
Ah.
$10 a month. And you know, all my life I've been called, you know, people have been saying you're a dick. So in my eyes, I want to connect with all the other dickheads around the world, and so
Just touch tips, dude.
that's what that's for. And in the background of that one, it's like this head, but it's like all tie dye, and I have like a third eye coming out of my head with a rainbow,
Oh,
like
sweet.
some cool fucking shades on.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, dude, the cartoons make it endless for like
Yeah.
moving pieces without you know, having to do a new photo shoot or whatever. It's,
Right.
Yeah, so it's really versatile in that way.
That's a good idea. I should bring some of those back. I had a couple cool ones done a while back. I should bring that. That's a good concept.
Dude,
Let's all
I
make a
love that
bunch of stuff.
chili. I love that chili idea that you did, bro. I gotta come up with something cool like that for a
Yeah.
publicity stunt to get some more eyes on the show. And
Oh, it was fun. It was, you know what I mean? Like, what's great is it didn't really fuck anything up. It was one shower. I thought it was going to be like a couple. I do think the funniest part of it was watching, like, the family, like the actual owning family, in there squeegeeing my shirtless body of chili. And I was just like, I feel like this is the ultimate power move. What did I...
what did they sign up for?
I know, but everybody was all in because it was, dude. You know, the thing is, it's like because it really isn't a power move to me, and it was just like this fun, silly thing. I just remember thinking, I'm like, I think we all just got really caught up in it. Like, you know, the news was there and shit. It was crazy. And somebody texted me a couple days later.
There and you were in your underwear,
Yeah,
bathing
literally.
in chili.
And then people were like dunking. It was amazing. People ate out of it. It was awesome.
Oh,
I
no
couldn't
way,
believe it. Yeah,
dude.
it was good. 2 different people tried the food out of it.
You
I
were
was just like,
showered.
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You mind saying what brand you guys used? What?
Oh yeah. Gold Star came through.
Gold
for me on
Star?
that. Yeah, so it was Gold Star chili in there. It was 22.5 gallons, I think we had in the tub.
Hell yeah.
It was. I mean, and we added a little hot water too, just because it was like room temp. So.
Okay. So you
was
were
good
in a
time.
warm chili bath, dude.
Yeah, like warmish. I mean, after you sat in it for an hour with no, and I got to shout out Jolly Plumbing. They were the tub sponsor.
Okay.
Because like leading up, they were like, we want to be involved, and they were like, what do you need? And I was like, look, dude, I need a tub I can fit in comfortably for an hour, and I don't want to clean it up.
It's so funny that you just make this post outwardly, and
Yeah.
then people were like, no, dude, we can't. You have to do this. We want to sponsor. They're like clawing down your door, like, dude, put our tub in the video.
It was dude. It was honestly, it was one of those moments where I was like, I think I've made it, at least
Fuck
locally. You know what I
yes,
mean? Where I was
dude.
just like, I think this happened.
Yeah, you're
You
becoming
know?
a staple for sure, dude.
Man, it's been crazy lately because, like, I don't know, I've just been head down grinding. I feel like for the last 20 years of my life, literally, right? Like, you know, it was music for a long time, and then all these other silly things along the way. But it's like this show's doing really well. And, like, the acting thing has been a little slow this year, but it's like the projects I get to audition for now are crazy stuff. You know,
Yeah.
where I'm just like, oh, this is no longer just. You know, and by the way, I still love doing like local indie stuff, but like, man, there's some stuff that's come down my pipeline recently where I'm just like,
Well, I
can't believe it.
I heard a little rumor
Yeah.
that this like Ohio might be like the new Midwest LA, like the new little Hollywood.
If
There's a
we-
major production company that just bought a huge lot here in Dayton, beginning of this
Oh,
year.
Cool, that's awesome.
Big company from LA, and I think they have a sister company in Atlanta that they just bought another facility down there. But
That's awesome.
So, dude, yeah, this could really be Cincy and Dayton and this whole kind of area.
And Columbus has a great film scene
Columbus too.
Yeah.
They already have a lot going on out there.
Oh, for
so-
sure. Yeah, Columbus is like kind of the underrated Slayer in the state.
Yeah, I feel like a lot more like Midwestern people are going to start getting some more opportunities as far as acting and
Yeah.
things like that go. So that's why I'm trying to get in that field, man. I'm trying to get out of my regular 9 to 5 and be a full-time creator and
Yeah.
actor and stand up. So
It's awesome.
yeah,
I want to get back to doing stand up again. That would
you
be
should,
a
dude.
lot of fun. I know.
It's a good time.
I had
It's
so
on
much
the
fun
rise,
doing it. Yeah,
man.
and I really, you know, it's one of those things that I think even if I was doing some, you know, it sounds stupid to be like, oh, I'm going to do this casually. But the problem is, I have a lot of talents, and I hate saying that out loud.
It's okay.
But you know what I mean?
Your powers.
I'm only going to do what I'm good at. You know what I mean?
You're a light being, bro. You know.
Thanks, dude.
You know.
I appreciate it.
I'm serious. I can feel it, bro.
Thanks.
You're not the Illuminati, but you got it inside you. We all do, bro.
I could be. I've been eating the chili, dude. So there's like a little bit of everybody.
Illuminati. All of our Cincinnati forefathers. They grind the bones. You got to stay strong out there, kid.
That's right. William Howard Taft himself invented some, oh my gosh. But no, I always loved comedy. I was always kind of afraid to really try it around here because I'd watched so many people in the Cincinnati comedy scene for so long that I was like, am I like a weird hanger on now? But I was like, I don't know. I've been like writing jokes online for 20 years. So I was like, that kind of does count to an extent. It's not the same thing as performing live.
Well, you're pretty punchy too. You're a funny guy, like conversationally, and that definitely helps on stage.
I totally agree.
This is a muscle, like doing the whole podcasting thing and having one-on-one, and having to be funny in the moment translates over to stage, I think.
I totally agree. And, and it's funny because I've had years of other stage performance, like preparation, right? By like playing in bands and touring around and stuff like that, where it's like, you're on stage all the time. And, I don't want to be like, it's all the same, but there is a lot of crossover though, right? Whereas like, that's what you see. Look, I think this is why you see serious actors. They're like, oh, I'm an actor, but I'm also a musician. I'm in a touring band and doing this. I'm like, yeah, we're all just like failed musicians kind of.
Yeah, in a way. Yeah. Cause there's only a couple of, really good musicians, but there's a ton of people around the ecosystem. And yeah, it's fun. I think we start at different parts of it sometimes, like you were saying, and then we'll kind of like fill out the world or be in different parts in different worlds, and there's all different sectors of entertainment, but it's the same people. Eventually, like the ones who work hard and stuck at it, you see them in other industries. You run into them.
For sure.
You guys rub elbows in the past, and then you're like, oh, boom, I'm glad we're both doing this now. Look at you and look at me. And,
right, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And that's like probably the most fun thing about it too, right? And it's like a combination of those people who were not just talented and there's like the trifecta to me. It's like talented, driven, and self-aware is like the hard one, I think, to find. Because I think I find a lot of people who are very talented all the time. Driven seems slightly less common than the talent, and then the third least common is the self-aware, because it's like having it just enough self-loathing is, I think, what helps so many creators become awesome, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think if I really liked myself too much, I don't think I'd be successful.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I hate looking back on my videos. I hate editing myself. I'm so cringe.
Yeah.
It's so cringe. But in the moment, I know that I'm doing something right. Like right now, I feel good. We're in flow.
Yeah.
It's a great conversation. I'm having fun and like,
same.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It's like when you're in the moment, but when I look back, I'm like, who is that guy?
Right. Oh, I totally get it.
It's like you got to turn the switch off. But sometimes it's hard to draw that line and like try to, I don't want to use the term, I do this too much. I say when you're becoming a regular person again, but it is like you're a different person when you're in character. When you're in media or in acting or stand up, you are in character and it's scripted no matter what you know what I mean?
Even in those people who are like, I've tried really hard to be pretty much the same, but like, I was talking to someone just a minute ago and she's just like, oh, make sure you don't do too much of that, Mark.
Sure.
And I'm like, oh, is it really that bad? She's like, no, but like,
just make you aware.
Right. She's like, I know you and I know whatever. She's like, and then she's like, make sure you talk about the weird acting kissing class lessons on the show.
Would you please open up about that?
Dude. So
are you going to kiss me?
No, I mean, I don't know. That's why when I pulled up, I was just like, oh shit, I got that.
This is going to get us an audition though. If we make out right now, this will definitely get me.
All right, here we go. I'm taking one for the team.
You have to send this to your agent.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I was like,
did you see his lips?
Yeah, exactly. This is 2022. Mark's really trying to expand the portfolio.
He's very diverse. I mean, he has range. Look at this.
Yeah. Well, we'll get lost in these rabbit holes of just like weird areas of internet. And the conversation today where she and I were like, what is acting? And we're just kind of like laughing about it. So she starts looking up all these weird classes and at some point finds this rabbit hole that there are no shit like kissing lessons for actors. And I just like, my immediate thought is, great, I know the topic of the first documentary I'm going to make. Because there are some very interesting people at that. Can you imagine even like legitimately Googling that to be like, all right, I want to be an actor, but how do I look like I've fucked ever.
Oh my god, dude! I would
mean,
love it to be the front man for that show. If you ever develop it, kind of like how Joe Rogan did Fear Factor. Like no one took it serious, but eventually it caught on.
It's so
right.
true.
It would be fun to do that, like those kind of people. But in that same lane, you could also go to like UFO conventions.
Oh my god, all that.
Right?
Like,
Isn't that the same kind of
like pocket?
the weirdest bits of society that people don't get to see?
Eventually, I feel like my Nathan Fielder fandom, like Nathan For You. I don't know if you ever watched that show.
Nathan Fielder?
Oh my god. Dude, you're gonna love this show. Check out Nathan For You. It's on Hulu.
Nathan For You.
Yeah, he's a Canadian comedian. His whole thing was like the pitch for the show is that he would go to like quote struggling businesses and come up with these again quote brilliant ideas to help their businesses out. And the thing is, yeah, you'll definitely find them brilliant, but like not in a really useful way. Yeah, and there's all kinds of genius ones. Oh my god, I've been trying to get so many people hooked on that lately. It's really fucking
Nathan
funny.
For You.
Yeah, Nathan For You. It's like really dry humor. His performance alone is like one of the greatest things ever because he's just a super weird guy that is maybe has the best poker face I've ever seen in my entire life. And he will pitch some fucking crazy. The first episode, he goes to a frozen yogurt place and he's like, I have an idea. We're going to come up with a crazy flavor that's going to have everybody come in and it's shit. And so he's like, and mind you, he's just like sitting there straight faced, having people like do taste tests and that kind of thing.
The shit.
It's amazing. And people, he's like, what do you think that flavor you just tasted is? And it's just these real people react. I mean, dude, it feels more real than any reality TV show I think I've ever watched.
Do you like Impractical Jokers?
Oh, I go back and forth. I was a big Joe Gatto fan. Now that he's gone, I'm a little upset about it.
Yeah, they said that he might come back. I saw Sal on I think he did Theo's podcast.
By the way, who knew Sal was going to have a great podcast? I did not see that out of the group.
Dude.
Yeah.
Well, him and Chris DiStefano.
Right.
I saw Chris in Nashville a few months ago.
Oh, no
shit. Right before he put out that special. Saw the same material, and it was very good, man. He's really on the rise. Like guys like him and Andrew Schultz, stuff like those guys are trailblazing for. I mean, Joe Rogan did obviously, but for like younger comics like me who are on the rise, that's like the business model that I'm trying to go after. Is like, not everybody's going to agree with me. I'm like a little bit old school, I guess you could say, or a little bit of a different kind of comic.
I'm a product of the 1900s.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I'm a little bit of a dinosaur, but there's still a market for that, right? There's still people out there who like will support me. And then I feel like once I get to, enough people over the next couple of years who think I'm like cool enough for them to give me a few bucks a month for my artistic expression and doing all this media, it will build and kind of cascade and snowball eventually. It did for those guys. So I'm hoping if I put the work in,
that's it. I mean, look already, dude. Like you've been doing
Success
50 episodes and we've got an even better studio now. You know what I mean?
I know, dude. I was in my living room a few months ago, and sometimes I still can't believe this shit.
This is a great setup, and that's the thing though. It's like you do something fun, you do something that's interested, you're talented at it, and you've got. By the way, I think the stand-up thing is a great. I keep going back to this too, where I kind of want to get back into trying to do it more frequently. Is like. It's a great method of effectively just advertising your personality to a certain extent. Where like I'm sure my stand-up would be a little less safe than what I'm doing on the show, but even still, they're like, fuck it, do whatever. Yeah.
You can draw a different type of audience in for sure with your stand-up. My stand-up is definitely not. When I'm on the show, I'm being me. Like I embellish and like punch it up a little bit and have a good time. But like, when I'm on stage, I'm a little more. I don't know. I'm definitely different. I'm definitely I don't know. I cross a lot of lines and push a lot of envelopes.
Hell yeah.
It is what it is. But sometimes it doesn't go my way. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, that's going to happen though. That's like what's kind of fun about comedy. I don't know. For me, as like a comedy fan, that's the shit I'm there to see. I'm there to see the like wild swings. I'm kind of there, and not in a negative way, but I am kind of excited to see somebody eat shit. And again, not to be negative, but to me, what's fascinating more than anything is watching how people recover and spin out of those moments.
Yeah, dude.
And like working an audience is something I feel pretty good at in those live settings. So I really like when other people are good at it too, and it's super fun.
You gotta be talented to dig yourself out of a hole like that.
Yeah,
and then bring them back on, and even make the audience forget that it happened.
Yeah, where you're like you've lost them entirely, and then you're just like, just kidding. You're gonna eat out of my hand by the end of this 10 minutes.
You're like, you didn't like that? Well, let's try something else. Let's be a little more playful. I got some good advice recently. Yeah, because I just opened up with a fucking bad joke. Like, I just opened up with a school shooter joke in front of like over 100 conservative white people.
Perfectly timed, I'm sure.
And it was good timing. I had been killing with it, no pun intended. But I did a show with Rand Barnacle, and I had a big stinker.
Oh, Rand's great.
I kind of bombed with that joke. I brought myself back a little bit. It was decent other than that, but I know that really heavily affected my set and my confidence and their perception of me by going out and opening with that stupid fucking joke.
Right.
And he was like, hey, dude, I got a little advice for you. I was like, what's that? He was like, you know the school shooter joke? I was like, yeah. He was like, maybe don't fucking do it anymore. And he was like, considering there was one last week and there'll probably be another one next week. And I was like, oh, thanks, dude. I really appreciate it. He also said this, which I really took to heart. And he was like, you're not like a bad looking guy and you're a little authoritative. So he was like, sometimes when you say things like that are serious seeming like that, he was like, you can really throw a crowd off. He was like, maybe before you try something like that, ham it up a little bit. Be more silly and not expect them to get your personality. And I was like, that makes so much coming from someone who's been in the business for a while.
Yeah, and he's been doing. I'm like,
meant a lot.
He's so funny and been doing great
So
shit.
great.
Yeah.
I look up to him so much, so it kind of hurt that I bowed in front of him. But it is what it is. He's a great guy, and
The thing is, again, it kind of comes back to that recovery, man. Like, and I think that's where you earn the respect from those dudes.
Yeah, I had to hang in for another 10 or 12 minutes and finish my shit. That's awesome. I came out swinging, dude.
Yeah, you had to. Yeah, but that's great. I bet it was probably a great set ultimately.
I had fun. Yeah. It was a good time for sure.
There is just some imperceptible thrill. Really, any kind of performer that's doing something live in front of an audience, that like when they get what you're doing and you can feel that in the room, that it's just like, it's like it makes so much sense why people try to get in this industry.
It's almost hard to describe it. Like when you really are honing it, right? And you're cooking up there and you've had some good sets. Where are we at? 40 minutes? Okay, we're going to wrap it up soon. But,
sounds good.
Well, you're really cooking, man. And you've had some good sets before that. You've been to a few shows that week and then you got a hot weekend.
Right.
You're feeling yourself, man. There's nothing like making a whole room fucking shake their body and make noise uncontrollably. You're like, yes. Yeah, it's a high, dude. Like when I really first started doing comedy, and the first few times I did well, like at a bigger venue or somewhere I respected or was glad to be at.
Yeah,
I couldn't sleep. Like it was hard to go to work the next day and still be like, I'm not getting paid for this yet, but I know, right?
Right.
Last night was something, buddy.
Yeah.
It's like you just get this feeling,
and
deep within.
Yeah,
and I know, and I can see the future, and I can, start to manifest it, and it's that first visualization. You can't really like verbalize it, right? You're just like, oh wow, I know that this is going to create this, but I'm not quite there yet, and I'm glad to be in the journey. I'm glad to be in the moment in between the here and the now, right?
I think that's like a great bit of advice for people trying to do what we do in general.
Yeah, as a creator,
just to like something I think that. I know I talked about like my big three, but I do think there's like a good of, I mentioned the self-doubt or kind of like the self-loathing, and sometimes, but I think some people get too locked into that. And it's like, you really do have to, I think something I've been really good at, again, I've been trying to make it in entertainment in Cincinnati, Ohio. Yeah. So like, but I think something
it's coming to you now.
Well, right. And I think I seriously sometimes think that it did solely because I had so much hope for not just myself, but like so many other talented people around me too.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, there's really no reason why we all can't have this. The dog bowl's huge. You know what I mean?
It's like you can showcase them now because you have your own source of media.
Absolutely.
Like Kevin Smith did for his friends or Adam Sandler did for his friends.
Right. And is that not what we all want? Is like kind of
Yes.
just to be like happy with the people we like. As silly as that sounds,
the
it sounds
people
really
who were
trite.
there in the beginning.
Yeah. And like I got a bit of a shitty, sarcastic sense of humor, but I'm like, I really don't mean it. I just want everybody to have a good time,
Yeah, dude. No, well, you need
Me
that
first,
perspective. For sure, you first. And we need that perspective in the room, right? Because not everybody thinks like you, and that's why they're attracted to your personality, and vice versa. With you need other people in your life to give you a new perspective, and that's how we learn how to be fucking humans, right?
Yep.
That's awesome, man.
All part of the experience, baby.
Dude, this was a great fucking episode.
Thanks, Johnny.
I really had a good time with you tonight.
I'm really glad we got to meet in person finally.
Me too, dude. Yeah, I got to come down there and see you.
Let's do something weird.
We're gonna do that soon, and then we'll do a cool vlog about it for you guys for the Patreon guys. So thanks for coming, man. Justin, thank you for being here today, buddy. And you guys make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel and follow our Patreon in case I'm deplatformed from this YouTube channel.
I'm actually gonna personally cancel you on the way out.
So, dude, it's so good. That's my ending bit every time, and the guest always laughs. So hopefully, at one day I'll have like a long compilation of me saying that and people just snickering, and then I'll be like, and now he's canceled.
Perfect. I'm ready for it.
Now you have to follow us on Patreon.
Yeah.
But this is my top goal on Patreon. I have a few smaller goals, but I will say this before we leave, and then we'll cut. Once I reach $50,000 a month, I'm gonna personally have a death match with Dwayne Johnson, Joe Rogan, and Logan Paul. It would be a no holds bar cage match to the death, and then we'll see who the greatest podcaster in the world is, won't we?
Ooh.
Thank you so much for watching, guys. Can't wait for the death match. Even sooner, though, we're going to get a tattoo when we reach 100 episodes, so we're going to work that out.
I can't wait to see.
Thanks for the cool idea about that, too.
I hope it works.
Yeah.
Partially hope it comes out fucking crazy.
It's going to be like a mermaid and just a centaur.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would be a good way. It's like somebody draw the top half and then the bottom half. There you go, you know?
Yeah, first
get
half.
Weird with it.
Yeah, dude. First half is like, what's that guy? Horse Bojangles or Horse Bojack?
Bojack Horseman.
Bojack Horseman, and the bottom's a mermaid. I'm into it. Let's go. The Morning Woods podcast, guys. Thank you for watching. Have a good one. Peace out.